Now I'm in a little bit more of a rush than I thought because I got here this morning and realized I missed this room. So this is gonna be tight, but hopefully I'll have this ready because I really need to hand off this building today before the end of the day. I'm moving out of this office building that I've been renting for the last 2 years, and I have over 250 of these holes to fill. Now, I'm gonna show you today how I do that quickly, and we're gonna see exactly how long it takes me to fill, again, over 250 of these. Fill them, texture them, paint them, and have this place totally ready for somebody else to take over. To get started, I'm just gonna be using some all-purpose drywall mud. We call it mud. I guess they just call it joint compound. We're gonna start with all-purpose. You can buy it in this size. You can buy it in a smaller size, more like, kind of like an ice cream container. It's a little more than a pint, but kind of seems about that size. You can also buy it as a dry powder that you mix with water. I don't like the dry powder. I don't know, it's harder for me to get it good and even. Usually, I mean, you gotta mix it in a bucket anyway with some water. This stuff's also really cheap. But today what I wanna also do, in addition to doing it as fast as possible, I wanna minimize the materials that I need to use. You can buy joint compound as well that is kind of like a low dust version. That can be handy if you're gonna need to do a lot of sanding. I'm gonna show you how to do this with minimal sanding. Another kind that you can get is one that has very little shrinking. So you're gonna see when we fill the hole, it's gonna kinda shrink in as it dries. And you can minimize that with the low shrinking stuff. But usually, even so, I'm gonna need to do 2 passes on every hole. So if I'm gonna do 2 passes anyway, I'm not worried about paying extra for the low shrink stuff. Now for this, here's what I need. I need my joint compound. I need a rag. You can use paper towel for this. You'll probably go through a fair amount of it. I would go through a whole roll for sure. And then I'm gonna use just a little putty knife or a little mud knife. We're gonna keep this super simple. So let me show you the process. I'm gonna take kind of the corner of my putty knife and I'm just gonna get some kind of on an edge like that, okay? By doing that, it allows me to just put some right here in the hole and not a lot anywhere else. And I'm gonna kind of pull away from the center of the hole toward the edges, right? I'm gonna do that in all directions. Doing that gets that mud to stick to all sides of the hole. If I just kind of get it to stick on the bottom and maybe the left or the right side, that's not gonna work as well. So I need to get it around all the sides. And then I'm gonna scrape it smooth. I'm not super worried about getting it totally smooth because at this point, when it starts to dry, it is gonna shrink a little bit. I'm gonna end up with a little bit of a depression there. Now, one of the things we're gonna do right now, and if you look really closely on this up close camera, you might notice there's not very much mud around the outside. If I put a whole bunch on here, then did what I just did, I would end up with mud filling in around the texture. But now, I'm gonna take this rag that I've got, and I'm gonna wipe off around the hole. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna preserve that texture all the way around the hole. So if I do need to do any texturing, I only need to texture right on the hole. So there's one hole down, 249-ish to go. And so we're gonna get started. And I'll show you the second half of this process in a few minutes. But first, I gotta get through and do the first step on all these holes. Now, one thing I've been doing that I forgot to mention earlier in this video is most of the time when you go to fill these holes, you're gonna have a little bit of a bump. Like right here, it's not totally flat. I mean, my knife, or my putty knife here, it hits that, right? And so one of the things that you're gonna wanna do is just kind of give those a quick little scrape. Do it as you go, just get like a mud pan or something, and that's just gonna make this job a lot easier. All right, over the course of this last week, we managed to get this whole office space cleared out. So it is empty. All that is left is this little bit of recording equipment that I have to show this to you, and then the tools that I need to finish this up. It's time for me to do the second coat on all of these. I went through and I'm only like 1 hour and 9 minutes, actually exactly 1 hour and 9 minutes into this process. And I have filled nearly 300 holes, it turned out. And now it's time to do the second round. Now, I'm gonna show you real quick how I'm gonna be able to do this super fast. For all the other stuff, I basically wiped off all the excess. In most cases, there were a few spots where there were so many holes so close together, but what I did in those cases was I scraped off all of the excess mud as much as possible so that really I'm not gonna have to do any sanding. Now here, with all of these, especially the ones that I wiped, I'm just gonna need to be able to fill in just a little bit. You can see where it's sunk in. And in order to do that and do it really fast so I can get out of here, because I've got till tomorrow. and I gotta fill all of these holes still. I gotta let it dry. I gotta do a little bit of texture, and then tomorrow I can come in here and I can just paint over the top. That's my goal. So here's how I'm gonna do it and how I'm gonna do it quickly because it's already getting late in the day. I'm just going to, every one of these holes, it helps so much when you have a mud pan. I can scrape this thing clean. I'm just gonna put a little bit, like literally just a little bit on the corner there, and I'm gonna put it right there on the hole. And that was like 3 times as much as I needed realistically. So I can scrape that off. And now I can just go right over the top of that, and look at that. It's super smooth. Yeah, I can probably get away with not even texturing that. If I just painted over it, you'd probably never know. I might still spray a little bit of texture on there, but I'm comfortable with that. Honestly, like you could probably get away if you're filling holes like this with not even doing any texturing. No sanding, no texturing, let that dry, paint over it, and we're good and done. Okay, one down, nearly 300 to go. I'm gonna go pick up some dinner, and then we're gonna finish this up. I submit the pizza is the best work food, partly because it's like super cheap, partly because it's easy, and partly because it's delicious and satisfying when, I don't know, you've been working hard. So we're gonna have some pizza, and then we gotta get back to work, because there's so much left to do. Okay, I left this spot here without wiping it all off, because I wanted to be able to show you this. This is another cool trick. I learned this from my next door neighbor when I lived in Texas. He was like 93 at the time. I had never seen this done before. Anyway, it's super cool. What I've got here is a rag, and it is just damp. So this is the same rag I was using earlier, except now it's damp. I don't want any dripping. If it's that wet that it's dripping, we got a problem. We're gonna have too much water and we're gonna mess this up. But if it's a little bit damp, it's kind of cool. I can just rub on it a little bit. If you look close, you'll see that I'm wiping away the dried on, completed drywall mud. So instead of like sanding it off and getting dust everywhere, I can rub it off of the texture so that I don't have to retexture it, although retexturing it is pretty easy. We're about to do some of that, and you're gonna see just how easy and fast that can be, how good you can make it look. If I didn't wanna have to texture and I just was filling little tiny holes, I could do that. And then I could also gently go over the top of and smooth over the spots where it was a little bit thicker. So that way I get my texture back in all these other spots, and I just minimize the look right here on the spots, the holes I actually filled. Okay, but now we're gonna do some texturing because I had so many holes to fill, and it didn't make sense for a lot of these for me to go and wipe off all of the excess. What I did do is I scraped off as much as possible as I was going so that I wouldn't really have to sand. And now I'm gonna show you how easy it is to texture. Now, this kind of texture, this is called orange peel. It's a really common and really inexpensive texture, and I can just go buy a can of this orange peel wall texture, and it's really easy to do, but it's also easy to do and make it look bad. So come with me, I'm gonna show you how to do this well. Okay, so important principle number 1, when you get the can, before you spray, you really gotta shake it good and get it to mix well. Believe it or not, it matters. It matters with spray paint too. When it says like shake it for like a whole minute or 2, do it. It's gonna make a difference. So we shake it up really good. Next though is the pattern. How thick or how heavy of a pattern do we want versus how kind of fine do we want? If we look at this texture, it's pretty fine. I don't have a ton of really, really big chunks. They may have sprayed on a lot, but they sprayed it on in this kind of really fine pieces. And so that's what I want, is something pretty fine. So I'm gonna turn this over toward the fine side, and I'm going to test it out. So one of the first things I'll do is take a piece of cardboard or something, and I'll test it out. Now this says to hold it at about 24 to 36 inches away. That's 2 to 3 feet. That's, whatever, 2/3 to about a meter away from the surface that I'm spraying on. It's really easy to think you should be about this close, which I'm only about a foot away. I'm that far away. That's not nearly far enough. I need to be this far away. You'll find if you're too close, it's just gonna go on in a thick glob, and it's just gonna be a mess, and you're gonna have to wipe it off, and you're gonna have to try again, which, if that's what happens, it's okay. Wipe it off and try again. We're gonna back off, and now here's the other trick. When we do this, we're gonna spray it on, and I'm just gonna you're not gonna hold it down and go. I'm just gonna push down just enough that it starts to go, and I'm just gonna kind of like a sprinkler that does that little thing I'm just gonna do it in little bursts, And you're gonna see what that does. If I hold it down, I'm usually gonna get way too much on there. So let's see what this looks like right here, right up close. At about 2 or 3 feet away. And once I get going, I can do this pretty quick. Now, if you look at that, I got some huge globs. Look at how, that doesn't look good, right? Some of those are too big, some of those are too high. That's just gonna look really bad, isn't it? Well, let's watch it. Just give it a couple of minutes and you're gonna see. We'll speed this up and you're gonna see what it looks like as it starts to dry. You might be able to see that that's already shrunk down a little bit, but while that's still going, I wanna show you, this also started to glob up a whole bunch. And over time, that's what happens. As I went through, I did a bunch of other walls already in the last few minutes. Just rinse it over some water. I'm also not too worried about spraying and getting it on other stuff because this stuff also just comes off easily with water. It dissolves really easily in water. So when I'm all done here, I'll take a washcloth to my baseboard here. I also got to shampoo the carpets anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. It's all gonna come right up. Okay, so while that's been drying, I went around and I finished texturing everything else, actually almost all of it. I need to go buy another can of that spray texture. I didn't have quite enough. So I need to get that done tonight though, because I need to be able to paint this tomorrow so I can get everything out of here, get it all cleaned up and get done. Anyway, I wanted to just highlight here though, just with how much it's kind of already sort of calmed down, right? It's already getting harder to perceive what's new texture and what matches what was there with the wall, right? The old stuff. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna leave this camera right here so you can see it. When I come back here tomorrow and I paint over this wall, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference what was old wall texture and what's the new stuff. It's gonna all look the same. So I guess for you, it's gonna take just a second. We'll be right back and we're gonna paint this wall. All right, so for this kind of work, you gotta make sure you got a couple things every time. One, you gotta have your entertainment. I like music, but I also love to listen to books. It helps pass the time a lot faster. And then the other thing you gotta have is your refreshment, whatever that is gonna be. I am a connoisseur of the Diet Pepsi. So that's what I've got lots of here in my mini fridge. It's about the only thing left in the office other than tools and stuff. And of course me and Sketch. So make sure you have the essentials when you're doing any job. That's another tip for you. That one's free. Finish up the blue walls. I got them textured and then later I got them painted, so we're in good shape there. But I didn't get all the texturing done. And that is because I ran out. The can ran out. Oops. So I had to book it over to Lowe's right before they closed. Got myself another can of the spray texture, which we will use this morning. But now I'm in a little bit more of a rush than I thought because I got here this morning and realized I missed this room. Now, I did get the first coat done, but if you look closely at this wall, see if I can make it visible for you. There's a lot of these that definitely need to be cleaned up a bit before I can texture them. They need a second coat. So first thing I gotta do this morning is another coat on a bunch of these holes. I had a pegboard right there, so that's why there's so many holes. So we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna get all of those done, and then I'm gonna go texture everything that needs to be textured. And then we'll just start with painting in the places that I already got textured yesterday. And we're gonna try to knock all of this out today. I also have normal work I need to get done today too. So this is gonna be tight, but hopefully I'll have this ready because I really need to hand off this building today before the end of the day. Did it, and none too soon. It's after 8:30 p.m. I'm tired. Sketch is tired. Sketch is right here. Sketch is like jumping up on me. He just like cannot wait to go home. Don't worry, Sketch. We'll get you home in just a minute here. We got it all done, and almost 300 holes filled within just a couple of hours. Then I was able to last night get everything textured, and today finish texturing and touch up paint everywhere where there were holes or scuffs or anything in a very short period of time. So if I can do it, I'm confident you can do it too. All of these things are things you can do yourself, just like I do it myself here at Fixter. So if there's anything that you want to learn how to do, let me know in the comments below. Chances are I've done it, or I'm going to be doing it here in the near future, because I got a lot of projects to do. I've had a lot of changes going on in my life, and that is leading to a ton of projects, like getting a gas mower running that I haven't really used over the last 3 years. That's going to be coming up in another video here soon, as well as getting my new garage all organized and set up with all sorts of stuff, because I got way too much stuff. This was a big office, and I don't have anywhere to put most of the stuff. So I got a lot of things I need to do in that garage. So many things coming here at Fixter. I hope that you enjoy them and check them out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, and make sure you subscribe to this channel and check out everything else that Fixter has to offer. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you all again soon.